the party whip was also not lifted when he wanted to increase the population to 6.9 million people. So do you think Mr. Murali can vote freely in your best interest? Much as he may want to do so, do you think Mr. Murali can vote freely according to your wishes? But even if the party whip is lifted, do you think that the PAP MPs have the courage to vote against their party? In our living memory, only 2 PAP politicians had ever disagreed with their party. Do you know who are the 2? The late Mr. Ong Ching Cheong, and more recently, Mr. Inderjit Singh. We all know what happened to Mr. Ong and Mr. Singh after they stood up to the PAP leadership. As it now stands, what we have is a lopsided parliament in which laws are passed without any meaningful debate or challenge. Therefore, what we need in parliament is obvious. We need more opposition voices in parliament precisely because PAP MPs are not able to perform this critical role that is required of all members of parliament. Friends of Bukit Batok, now is the time for you to make a difference to our parliament. Vote in Dr. Sun Juan, and he will speak up for you. Vote in Dr. Sun Juan, and he will speak up against the continuous increase in GST. Vote in Dr. Sun Juan, and he will speak up against the compulsory CPF minimum sum. Vote in Dr. Sun Juan, and he will speak up against the increase in our population to 6.9 million. Residents of Bukit Batok, let the SDP be your voice in Parliament. Thank you.
You heard that. Support Dr. Sun Juan. Support the SDP.
谢谢黄书义博士。那么除了刚才的演讲者之外，其实大家应该也想知道说，即使如果陈顺贤博士当选的话，新加坡民主党有什么样的计划？所以接下来我们要大概的跟你说，其实他们已经拟定了什么样的计划。We are one, we are Bukit Batok.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, before we carry on, I'd like to ask the owner of the vehicle once again, vehicle GBE 4632A. Golf Bravo Echo 4632 Alpha. Please remove your vehicle. If not, it will be towed away by the police. Thank you.
如果你的车牌号码是 GBE 4632A 的话，请赶快把你的车开走，不然就会被拖走了。OK?
Alright, so now let me introduce you to our project. We are one, we are Bukit Batok. Here is what the SDP has up for you if we were sent to Parliament. The first project, Hearts for Bukit Batok. This project endeavors to create a caring community for our elderly and the low-income residents. Under this program, households in Bukit Batok will be encouraged to adopt a needy family in the community by contributing their time and resources to the family's well-being. This will bring the Bukit Batok community together closer and forge strong bonds between the fellow residents. It will enrich the lives of both the receiver and the giver, even as we recognize that our humanity is inextricably bound together. The SDP will also set up and manage a trust fund that will raise funds to assist Bukit Batok's elderly poor with monthly stipends or food vouchers. If elected, Dr. Sun Juan will use his MP's allowance to assist 10 low-income families.
这就是我们第一个计划，叫先济5级8都。这5级8都的居民，如果你看到其他的居民过得很不好、很贫困，年长者他们很潦倒，你们要怎么办？第一个计划里头就是鼓励5级8都的居民可以领养另外一户低收入贫苦的家庭。 在这样的情况下，除了可以让大家发挥一种关怀的精神之外，也可以凝聚整个五级巴都社区。此外，新加坡民主党也会设立一个基金，这个基金将会提供资金和一些实物的赠券，来协助贫困的年长者。而且，如果徐世全博士当选的话，他也承诺会把每个月国会议员的收入来捐助10个低收入家庭，这样的心意可以关怀五级巴都，也凝聚五级巴都。
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. At this point in time, I'd like to introduce our second speaker. Sorry, our third speaker. He's a resident of Bukit Batok, 49 years old, and has been staying here for the past 17 years. He knows well enough the problems that you face on a daily basis. He is an industry businessman, and he will be telling you all the reasons why you should be voting for the SDP.
接下来这位演讲者很特别，他是你们五级巴都居民的一份子，他叫 Logan Nathan。那么很少有机会，我们可以亲耳听到一位居民在这里谈他的期待跟他的希望。所以这位49岁的居民在五级巴都住了17年，而且他目前是一个小生意，要搞一点小生意。所以在这里我们要热烈邀请这位勇敢的居民上来讲话，好不好？
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Logan Nathan.
欢迎 Logan Nathan。
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, voters of Bukit Batok, residents, friends, and fellow Singaporeans. Before we go further, please give a big round of applause, a big round of applause for all you guys who have come here to grace the occasion. Yes, give yourselves a big round of applause for turning up. You are here because you know this is the time. And before I move on, please give a big round of applause to all the MCs and the hosts for tonight. Please give them a big round of applause. They're doing a wonderful job. I would like to speak in Tamil before I proceed in English. வணக்கம், என் பெயர் லோகநாதன். நான் இங்கு புக்கிட் பாத்தோக் தொகுதியில் கடந்த 18 ஆண்டுகளாக வசித்து வருகிறேன் என் குடும்பத்தாருடன். இந்த தொகுதி கடந்த 18 ஆண்டுகளில் பல மாற்றங்களை பல வேலைகளில் பல சந்தர்ப்பங்களில் பல காரணங்களுக்காக கண்டுள்ளோம். அதுபோலவே இன்றும் சில தவிர்க்க முடியாத காரணத்துக்காக சில மாற்றங்கள் நடைபெற இருக்கின்றன. அதிலும் முக்கியமாக இந்த புக்கிட் பாத்தோக் தொகுதியில் இடைத்தேர்தல் ஒன்று நடக்கவிருக்கின்றது. அந்த இடைத்தேர்தலில் சிங்கப்பூர் ஜனநாயக கட்சியை சார்ந்த டாக்டர் Sun Juan அவர்கள் போட்டியிடப் போகிறார்கள். இந்த ஒரு மாற்றம் ஒரு நல்ல மாற்றம். இந்த ஒரு மாற்றம் நமக்கு எல்லோருக்கும் ஒரு நல்ல பலன்களை கொடுக்கும் ஒரு மாற்றம். ஆதலால் இந்த மாற்றத்தை நாம் வரவேற்க வேண்டும். அடுத்து ஏன் சிங்கப்பூர் ஜனநாயக கட்சி? Why the SDP? This is from my views and my opinions. சிங்கப்பூர் ஜனநாயக கட்சிக்கு நாம் ஏன் வாக்களிக்க வேண்டும் என்று எனது அபிப்பிராயம். முதலில் நாம் எல்லோருக்கும் we all are aware, very familiar with 4D, right? We all know what is 4D. So there is 4D present in Singapore Democratic Party. சிங்கப்பூர் ஜனநாயக கட்சியில் முதலில் ஒரு டிசையர் இருக்கின்றது, அதாவது ஒரு நோக்கம், அதாவது வெற்றி பெற வேண்டும் என்ற ஒரு ஆவல், ஒரு வெறி இந்த கட்சியிடம் இருக்கின்றது. அதிலும் வேட்பாளர் டாக்டர் Sun Juan அவர்களிடம் அதிகமாகவே இருக்கின்றது. அடுத்து இந்த கட்சியிடம் டிட்டர்மினேஷன் இருக்கின்றது, அதாவது விடாமுயற்சி, ஹார்ட் ஒர்க். எந்த சூழ்நிலையிலும் எந்த சந்தர்ப்பங்களிலும் எப்படிப்பட்ட சவால்கள் வந்தாலும் அந்த சவால்களை சமாளித்து பீடுநடை போட்டு இன்று இந்த களத்தில் இறங்கி இருக்கிறார்கள் என்றால் அவர்களுடைய விடாமுயற்சிக்கு நாம் எல்லோரும் தலைவணங்க வேண்டும். அடுத்து இந்த கட்சியிடம் உன்னதம் இருக்கின்றது, உயிரோட்டம் இருக்கின்றது. I see a lot of livelihood, a lot of it is a very lively party. அதனால் இந்த கட்சி இந்த தொகுதியில் நமக்காக, நமது வாழ்க்கை முறைக்காக, நமது எதிர்காலத்துக்காக பாடுபடும் ஒரு கட்சியாக நான் அதை பார்க்கின்றேன். அடுத்து டாக்டர் சி சுன் ஜுவான் அவர்களை பற்றி நான் பார்த்த வரையில் அவர் மிகவும் நல்லவர். டாக்டர் சி சுன் ஜுவான் ஒரு படித்தவர், ஒரு பண்பு மிக்கவர். டாக்டர் சி சுன் ஜுவானிடம் அதிக நம்பிக்கை இருக்கின்றது. தான் வெற்றி பெற வேண்டும், வெற்றி பெற முடியும் என்ற தவிர்க்க முடியாத நம்பிக்கை அவரிடம் இருக்கின்றது. அந்த நம்பிக்கையை நாம் வரவேற்க வேண்டும். அவரை நமது தொகுதி நாடாளுமன்ற உறுப்பினராக நாம் தேர்ந்தெடுக்க வேண்டும். அதுதான் நாம் செய்ய வேண்டிய கடமை. அடுத்து அவரிடம் நாணயம் இருக்கின்றது, அவரிடம் எண்ணம், சொல், செயல், இந்த மூன்றும் ஒன்றாக இருக்கின்றது. அவர் என்ன சொல்லுகிறாரோ, என்ன நினைக்கிறாரோ அதை சொல்லுகிறார், என்ன சொல்லுகிறாரோ அதை அவர் செய்கிறார், செய்யவும் தயாராக இருக்கின்றார். அப்படிப்பட்ட ஒரு வேட்பாளருக்கு நாம் இந்த வாய்ப்பை தந்துள்ள வேண்டும். எனக்கு தெரியும் எதிர்கட்சியிடமிருந்து ஆளும் கட்சியிலிருந்து அதிகமான ஸ்வீட்ஸ் அண்ட் கேண்டிஸ் அண்ட் ப்ராமிசஸ் அண்ட் சர்க்கரையாக இனிப்பாக பல விஷயங்களை எடுத்து வைத்திருக்கின்றனர். ஆனால் சர்க்கரை அதிகமாக இருந்தால் உடலுக்கு ஆபத்து, நம்ம எல்லோருக்கும் தெரியும். சர்க்கரையை விட மிக இனிப்பானது அக்கறை. அந்த சர்க்கரையை விட அக்கறை காட்டும் ஒரு வேட்பாளரை நாம் தேர்ந்தெடுப்போம். அந்த வேட்பாளர் வேறு யாரும் இல்லை, அதுவே டாக்டர் சி சுன் ஜுவான். டாக்டர் சி சுன் ஜுவான் அவர்களுக்கு இந்த இடைத்தேர்தலில் வாக்களித்து அவரை நாடாளுமன்றத்திற்கு நாம் அனுப்புவோம். Ladies and gentlemen, I live in this neighborhood for the last 17 years with my family. I'm married with wife and children, and I'm a self-employed business person and entrepreneur. In the 17 years, we have witnessed lots and lots of changes, and I believe, as what most of you believe here, there's another big and beneficial change is about to come. All right. This evening, I was about to come to a rally. I live nearby. I thought of taking the MRT. So my friend called me and told me, "Are you sure you want to go by the MRT? Because last week there was a breakdown and there was a blackout. So you are speaking, so you might as well just walk there." So I took a brisk walk and I came to the rally. Now the situation is this: there are lots of changes, and it depends on who is the right person who can stand up to these changes. All right, like all you have done today, all of us have weathered the storm. The storm came in the afternoon and is gone. So those who weather the storm will see the rainbow, and the rainbow of 7 colors will appear on the 7th of May. On the 7th of May, all right, and on the 7th of May, our duty is to vote for Dr. Chi Sun Juan for Bukit Batok SMC. That's all. All right. Now, voting for Dr. Chi Sun Juan is like, for the residents of Bukit Batok, is like whether you want to step into a river. Now, if you want to step into a river, you do not know whether is this a deep end or is it a shallow end. Where is the water deep enough where I put my leg? So it is no point standing on the outside, on the outshore, to think about where am I going to do it, because now is the time. You only know the depth of the water if you put your legs in and test it. So why we must choose the SDP, why I tested the SDP is because they stand for 4 principles. 4D, right? You're all familiar with 4D, right? They have the desire. Dr. Chi Sun Juan has the desire. He has the determination. Right? He has the dedication. You can look, you can read, you can see in all the reports, in all the media coverage, in all his years of effort that he has given to Singaporeans, that his heart is with the people. And not only the people of Bukit Batok, it's also for the people of Singapore. Now, the party does not even only have desire and determination, they have dedication and discipline. So you have desire, you have determination, you've got an MP who is dedicated, and you've got an MP who is disciplined. So with all these four principles of democracy, this party, and particularly Dr. Sun Juan, qualifies to become the next Member of Parliament for Bukit Batok. And what I think about the SDP, I have seen in my observations, I have worked with them for a brief period. They have a system, right? For any successful operations, you need to have a successful system, like our MRT system, right? So we believe that this party has a system. This party has skillful people. They are professionals, and this party has a strategy. So with systems and skills and strategy, this is the time. So this is the time for us not to stand outside and think about it, but to get into the race and support and vote Dr. Sun Juan into Parliament come May 7th. And in conclusion, I tell you what I like most about Dr. Sun Juan and why we should support him. Alright? The reason I like him most, okay, is he has promised, alright, he has promised to serve all residents of Bukit Batok full time and for a full term without any service disruption. Okay? So that's how the decision is with you right now. Come May 7th, vote for Dr. Sun Juan, Singapore Democratic Party for this election. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
谢谢5级巴度的居民 Logan Nathan. Thank you, resident of Bukit Batok, Logan Nathan.
Thank you, Logan, for being brave enough to speak at our SDP rally, and we have the biggest endorsement from our residents of Bukit Batok.
所有刚刚抵达的朋友，快点来，就是现在。Now is the time， 你还来得及，所以我们还没有走到最后。那么，如果你刚刚抵达的话，欢迎你来到新加坡民主党的第一场群众大会。
For those of you who have just arrived, now is the time. Now is the time to send Dr. Chi into Parliament. Now is the time to vote for SDP. And now is the time to attend our first rally, first SDP by-election rally. Allow me to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Paul Tambyah. Dr. Paul Tambyah needs no further introduction. But let me make use of this opportunity to introduce the book, Teacher, Thinker, Rebel, Why, that Dr. Paul Tambyah wrote a chapter. This book is about Dr. Chi. This book is written by a few of us. Those of us that who have worked very closely with Dr. Chi. So those of you who want to know Dr. Chi personally and not through the mainstream media, now is the time. Go to our booth, support Dr. Chi, get to know Dr. Chi through this book.
所以，如果你想知道徐树全博士是什么样的人的话，你可以通过这本书去了解他，而不用去猜测或是听说他是怎么样的人。那这本书其实结合了所有跟他一起工作的人，他们各自写了一篇文章。那其中淡玛雅博士他也写了一篇文章。那接下来他就是我们的下一位演讲者。要取得这本书的话，请到后面的摊位去，好不好？谢谢你们。
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Paul Tambyah.
欢迎淡玛雅博士。
Friends and fellow Singaporeans, thank you all for coming for the first rally for the Bukit Batok by-election. It is indeed an honor and a privilege to be here speaking on behalf of the SDP candidate for Bukit Batok, Dr. Sun Juan. Now you all know this is going to be an uphill battle to win the votes of the people of Bukit Batok. We are competing not just against our worthy opponent and his party, but also against the huge machinery and resources of the state and the media that are at the disposal of the ruling party. This was one of the lessons I learned during the recent general election. Don't get me wrong, it was a great experience during the GE, meeting so many supportive people who wanted a more democratic and more just Singapore. I was also really touched by the hard work of the SDP volunteers who tirelessly visited homes, distributed flyers, organized rallies, managed our social media sites, and did so many other things to get the message of democracy and justice and equality to the people. They did this voluntarily on their own, without any special privileges such as priority for their children's admission, parking privileges, or even chicken rice meals. However, they and the SDP had to compete against the total control of the mainstream media, the crackdown on social media, and the overwhelming use of state-funded resources in the People's Association for the benefit of the ruling party. That's not good, right? Since GE 2011, bloggers have been jailed, fined, arrested, and sued. Online media outlets, like our friends here, need to put down a $50,000 deposit. When we produced a humorous video, we were warned about the possible violations of the Films Act. But you know, I'm an optimist. I still think we can find some fearless and humorless alternative media champion who's got $50,000 to spare, who can help ensure that Singaporeans get a well-rounded view of the news. Now, you know, at the beginning of every campaign, some of the mainstream media outlets try to be fair. But when it comes close to polling day, all pretense of objectivity tends to go out of the window. For example, just before the September 11 election day last year, my 85-year-old aunt asked me, "Why are you not campaigning?" I told her, of course we're campaigning. We had a very emotional rally. We spent the whole day knocking on doors, meeting people, posting on social media until just before midnight on cooling off day. She didn't believe me. She said, "The newspapers are just full of the PAP." I pointed out to her there was a small section somewhere in the middle which had the transcript of my TV broadcast speech. But she insisted that we were not doing enough because she didn't see the SDP on TV or in the newspapers. That's not a very good state of affairs. The week after the election, a patient came into my clinic on a motorized wheelchair, accompanied by his daughter. They both congratulated me on what they said was a very well-run campaign. So I asked them, "Where do you live?" They said to me, "Yihua." So, naturally the next question came. They answered straight away and they said, "Well, Grace Fu has done so much for us. She even gave me this wheelchair." I said to him, "Hey, wait a minute. That wheelchair comes from your own money. It's taxpayers' money." But they would not be convinced. They said that she herself came personally to the flat to deliver the wheelchair with an army of grassroots leaders. Now, try as we might, the SDP does not have $1 billion of taxpayers' money to spend on social support for needy individuals who fall through the cracks of our complicated healthcare system. But we do have people with strong hearts. And I can tell you, no one has a stronger heart than Dr. Sun Juan. The people of Bukit Batok and the people all over Singapore know that he is one individual who has been hammered so many times by the PAP, but he's remained standing because he's committed to the people of Singapore, to work for our well-being, to fight for ordinary people, make Singapore a better place for all of us. Now, one of the points of contention in this election has been a promise made in August 2015 by Mr. David Ong to set aside $24 million for upgrading. These were supposedly including a new market, some improvements in the surrounding areas under the HDB's Remaking Our Heartland initiative. There are also proposals for a new hawker center, new childcare centers, a new elder care center, apparently under the NRP. Now the SDP would like to reassure the residents that both the HDB and the NRP programs will continue regardless of who they choose to lead them on the 7th of May. For example, we know from Mr. Pritam Singh that the Spring NRP program went ahead despite the change in town council in Aljunied. Similarly, Autang was amongst the second batch of the HDB's Remaking Our Heartland project, despite the fact that Autang has not had a PAP MP for more than 25 years. So don't worry, this constituency will not be left behind. The PAP has put forward these proposals and the SDP will implement them if this is what the residents want. As I've often said, Singapore is an excellent and professional civil service, and they are non-partisan. They will serve the people regardless of their political affiliation. If and when you, as residents of Bukit Batok, elect Dr. Chi as your MP, works that were planned long ago will go ahead, just like Spring and Aljunied. Or if you prefer that your own hard-earned money is spent on something else, such as healthcare or education, we will make representation to the relevant authorities, including the URA and HDB and others. Now, I went into politics because I was troubled by what I saw every day at work. Singapore is one of the richest countries in the world. Yet my patients tell me, in Singapore, they say, 可以死不可以生病. I was involved in the SDP healthcare plan in 2012. We asked the government to raise healthcare expenditure to $10.5 billion. This year, in fiscal year 2016, the government wants to spend $11 billion, even more than what we asked for. However, people in Singapore are still paying out of pocket for many of their outpatient costs. A large proportion of that $11 billion has gone into building beautiful new hospitals. Now, I think we need hospitals, but we don't necessarily need hospitals that look like country clubs. What we need is an evidence-based healthcare plan, similar to the SDP healthcare plan. As just one voice in Parliament, Dr. Chi is not going to be able to change the healthcare system overnight, but he will be able to ask important questions that help ensure greater transparency and fairness in our healthcare financing, in the issues that matter to Singaporeans. Now, Dr. Chi is someone who lives among the people. He knows what it's like to count every penny. He's an academic researcher, and he knows that the ordinary people of Singapore who work 2 or 3 jobs are doing it just to survive. They're not doing it for any other reason. Believe me, if and when he's elected MP and he decides to become a part-time, highly paid industrial neuropsychologist or maybe even corporate lawyer, I will be the first person to call him out on that. I promise you. People of Bukit Batok, the government will not change on the 7th of May. There will still be 82 PAP MPs in Parliament. They have an overwhelming majority, far in excess of the 2/3 needed to change our constitution. But with Dr. Chi in Parliament, you will have a fresh voice, someone who is not afraid to stand up, to speak up for the least and the last of us. Someone who will be a full-time MP to run an efficient town council, to be your voice in Parliament. Vote Dr. Chi, 7th of May, 2016. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Paul Tambyah.
谢谢甘南雅博士。那么所有的朋友，谢谢你们来到今天晚上的群众大会，特别是那边的朋友，我们不要冷落你，这边还有很多位，请们移过来好不好？就是现在了啊 ！Now is the time to move there 好。 我们要介绍的除了是演讲嘉宾之外，还有就是五级巴都 We Are One We Are Bukit Batok 其中的4个计划。那之前我们已经介绍了其中一个计划，就是你身为五级巴都的居民，你要怎么帮助另外一个贫困的家庭？你可以领养他们，你可以付出你的时间，还有你的经历吗？这就是其中一个他们提出的计划，叫星际五级巴都 Hearts for Bukit Batok。
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to now introduce you to our second project as part of our We Are One, We Are Bukit Batok project. The second project is the Pathfinder project. This project aims to create an environment conducive for students to build confidence and develop their potential. It is a place where students come together, discover themselves, explore their interests and talents, or simply find someone to listen to them. Pathfinder will also provide subsidized private tuition for students from lower income families.
如果第一个计划是为低收入者和年长者而设的，那第二个计划就是为青少年而设的。在新加坡这样的一个社会里，很多青少年其实都很茫然，不知道自己要怎么办，以后怎么办。所以第二个计划叫做青年开创者，也就是开创一条路给他们。如何开创一条路？首先先给他们一个空间，听他们的想法，尊重他们的意见，然后帮助他们寻找接下来要走的路。
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce our next speaker. Our next speaker, he is the director of Muhammadiyah Islamic College and now he is a freelance advisor for education and training. He represented the SDP and stood in masculinity GRC in the general elections last year.
这位演讲者，有些人你们可能会认得他，因为他在上一届的大选，就是2015年的大选，他竞选马西岭油池集选区。那么在过去20年，这位先生他非常积极的参加马来社团活动，而且非常的希望能为马来同胞发声跟争取福利。我们来欢迎下一位演讲者达玛胡里。
Let us welcome Mr. Daman Huri Abbas.
欢迎达玛胡里。
Wan Shang Hao. Wanakum. Salam sejahtera and good evening everyone. My dear residents of Bukit Batok and Singaporeans, the heaven has truly spoken. No one has seen this coming. After the last GE, all of us in SDP, like many of you, were truly saddened by the result. We had to swallow our grief and pick up the pieces and carry on the journey to fight for the people's voice. We ironed our red tops and restarted the house visits and pressed on towards the next GE in 5 years' time. And for Dr. Chi, we walked for 140 kilometers to keep our spirit and the flame of democracy alive, not realizing that in fact the heaven is working to prepare him for this grueling 2 months in this by-election. When the breaking news came that David Ong resigned, for reasons we all know, the hair stood up and gave us goosebumps. Not for what he did, but that it is Bukit Batok, a gift from above telling us, because you guys did not give up and press on when the chips are down, here's another chance to get in Parliament. And the very next day, we hit the ground in Bukit Batok, all excited and spirited to campaign again in our SDP raid. My dear friends in Bukit Batok, much is at stake in this by-election. The last GE gave Singaporeans a government that can still get away with passing laws and legislation without any reference and consultation with the people. Our hard-earned money called the CPF is still locked up and not given back to us in full. Unless someone enters Parliament with the courage to raise relevant questions, we will never have our voice heard in Parliament. The government will never know that the people is angry when our money is not given back to us. What really is the issue, my friends? That this government is not transparent to the people, and there is no real check and balance when it comes to them. Are they working for the interest of the people or the interest of themselves and the business and the self-serving profit margin?
For example, when oil price rise to the sky more than a year ago, we saw how fast oil companies justify themselves in raising petrol prices, and we had no choice because somehow all the petrol companies have the same price. Isn't this cartel? Fixing price. Isn't competition among companies a good thing, as it will benefit the consumer with lower prices, resulting in different competing companies wanting to win over buyers? Why is the government not checking such monopoly to guard the interest of the people? And now when oil price crash, for some strange reason, MPs like the rear-end expert Dr. Koh Poh Kun explain and justify those prices to still remain relatively high, instead of urging the oil companies to lower down the price fast. Whose interests are these people serving? Do they think we the people cannot see that these companies are profiting up and down? Are we against profit? No, we are not. But when price goes down, bring it down for us. If you hedge your oil price and it's a bad call, then don't dump the losses on the people. Why are they getting away with profiting off the difference and allowed to do so with confusing reasons justified by ministers some more? All these and many more, like the tragic SMRT deaths, the Hep C outbreak, the train breakdown, etc., are enough evidence to indicate a serious flaw in the appointment of leaders by this government for public-related institutions or for government-related companies. Something is very wrong with this so-called meritocratic system that the government shouts so much about to justify their appointees, when one after another have failed again and again miserably and proven to be incompetent. Is it because those heading them are not really experts for those very industries they lead? What does an ex-military man know about train and engineering? When you appoint an ex-general as CEO of a train company, where is the meritocracy value in that? I really cannot go on, but the crux of the matter is the government today no longer appoints the best man for the job, but instead appointees are those who are good for PAP's interests. Leaders in the formative years of our country will sacrifice and put the people's interests first. The same cannot be said of these government leaders today. They seem preoccupied with entrenching their hold on power for the $1 million salary at the expense of the people. And they treat the people with arrogance and we know better attitude. And when it comes to election, what do? They push terrorists like the upgrading proposal that will cost taxpayer 1.9 billion. And then threaten to take it away if residents don't vote for PAP. Fortunately, in this instance, they were caught like David Ong with his pants down below the knees. Is this the behavior of an attitude of leaders that we want? They merely see the people as pawns and bargaining chips for their use and fancy, and once they win their way in parliament, what do? Just parrot away what their political masters rather than speak for the interests of the people of Bukit Batok and Singapore. When they and their appointees make mistakes, what do they tell us? We are forgiving. We do not want to have a blame culture. But when people make mistakes, you and I, Matilo. This must change, and Bukit Batok can lead the way. You will do so when you cast that vote for Dr. Sun Juan, the homebred lion of a man, fit for this time and nation. So I say to you, vote for Dr. Chi. Now is the time. Vote for SDP on 7 May. Mampu now. Now my speech in Malay. Saudara-saudari penduduk Bukit Batok yang dikasihi, Dr. Chi adalah seorang pemimpin yang berjiwa rakyat dan sentiasa mengutamakan kepentingan rakyat. Di pilihan raya yang lalu, Dr. Chi rata-rata dipuji pemerhati sebagai seorang adipoti yang beribawa dan jujur. Dia berani, lantang dan bersedia untuk mendengar keluhan rakyat tanpa mengira siapapun dan menyuarakannya di parlimen demi kesejahteraan rakyat. Dr. Chi dan SDP telah melakarkan pelan peralihan majlis pembandaran dan melantik tokoh-tokoh yang pakar dalam bidang-bidang yang berkait langsung dengan proses peralihan pengurusan majlis pembandaran Bukit Batok. SDP akan mengurus majlis pembaraan Bukit Batok sendiri tanpa menggunakan pihak ketiga supaya kos kepada penduduk terkawal. Wawasan SDP dan Dr. Chi ialah untuk kita sama-sama dengan penduduk hidupkan kembali kerukunan dan suasana indah zaman-zaman kita di kampung dulu, di mana setiap penduduk, tak kira Cina, Melayu dan India, hidup berjiran, saling kenal antara satu sama lain, dan lebih penting lagi bekerjasama dan saling menghormati antara kita. Perubahan indah ini hanya boleh berlaku bila hati-hati kita, tak kira kaum dan agama, bersatu dalam kesetiakawanan dan kepercayaan tinggi. Bagi kita orang Melayu, saya berani mengatakan di sini Dr. Chi adalah seorang pemimpin yang adil dan saksama dan akan membela sesiapa pun yang tertindas semasa orang Melayu. Beliau sangat tegas mengutuk segala bentuk diskriminasi di mana-mana pun, termasuk yang berpunca dari dasar-dasar pemerintah sendiri. Komitmen beliau lebih jelas lagi dengan adanya kertas dasar kebijakan SDP terhadap nasib orang Melayu di Singapura. Melalui SDP menjelaskan keprihatinan parti terhadap adanya halangan-halangan kepada kemajuan semula jadi orang Melayu di negara kita ini. SDP harus bertindak. Setelah 50 tahun kita sabar melihat APB Melayu PAP berbisu saja bila dasar-dasar yang jelas berbau perkauman terus dilaksanakan pemerintah. Cukuplah dengan barisan pemimpin Melayu PAP yang jenis angguk-angguk geleng-geleng di Parlimen. SDP akan berjuang di Parlimen untuk keadilan sebenar untuk semua kaum. Saudara dan saudari yang dikasihi, kita berada di zaman yang mana orang jujur dicemooh dan dihina. Sebaliknya mereka yang jauh dari masyarakat, tiada jiwa rakyat, rakus dan berpura-pura disanjung dan diambil sebagai pemimpin kita. Dan segala bentuk tipu daya dan janji-janji palsu digunakan untuk menegakkan kekuasaan mereka tanpa menghiraukan perasaan dan keluhan rakyat. Kita di SDP menawarkan Dr. Chi Sun Juan sebagai calon anda untuk Parlimen di Bukit Batok. Gerangan tokoh pemimpin rakyat ini akan bertanding di Bukit Batok sebagai calon SDP untuk menyandang tugas sebagai wakil rakyat anda. Beliau adalah ketua kami di SDP dan beliau adalah calon yang terbaik untuk anda di Bukit Batok. Ayo Bukit Batok, marilah kita menyalakan kembali obor demokrasi kita dengan melantik Dr. Chi Sun Juan selaku wakil anda di Parlimen. Saya hari dengan pantun. Mambang bukan sebarang mambang, mambang berasal dari Gunung Jati. Baby Gong hilang, Nurani datang. SDP kasih dulu Dr. Chi. Baik tulai, undilah SDP. Ini kalilah. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Mr. Davanuri Abbas. Now the people of Bukit Batok, it seems really quiet out here. Make some noise. I can't hear you guys, the Bukit Batok street. Make some noise. Residents of Bukit Batok, now is the time for you to realize your dreams and bring them to Parliament. What is the time? What is the time? What is the time? Give yourselves a round of applause.
还有站在那边的朋友们，请你们移到中间来好不好？因为我们也想看清楚你的样子，还有听到你的欢呼。那接下来刚才已经告诉你关于新加坡民主党会为五级巴都居民推出的4项计划。那接下来我们再告诉你另外2项计划，好不好？所以你可以听一听，然后在来临的下个星期6做出你的选择。The third plan.
Alright, we will now touch on the third and the fourth project. The third project is the Dollars and Cents project, which initiates to assist residents who are facing financial difficulties and are looking for advice in resolving their financial problems. Financial experts and planners will meet with residents either individually or in small groups.
第3个计划是个理财计划，也就是说，新加坡其实有很多的穷人，即使不穷，只是钱也不多，所以他们可能不太会理财。所以在这第3个计划理财计划里头，那么新加坡民主党将会带来将会请一些财务的咨询策划师、规划师来帮助你解决财务上的一些疑难还有问题。 那么第4个计划 Legal Lifeline。
Alright, our fourth project, the Legal Lifeline. Staffed by lawyers, the Legal Lifeline provides the first step for all assistance to low-income residents who are in need of legal advice. We have at least 7 lawyers who have volunteered to run the legal clinic at this point of time.
那么第4个计划是法律生命线，也就是说你拨一通电话就可以见到一个律师。希望是如此。你们在那里的时候，如果遇到法律上有什么问题的话，这个法律生命线可以给你一些帮助，还有咨询。所以这个特地为5级8都居民推出的新计划，都和新加坡民主党的理念非常一致。除了环境之外，我们要的不只是物质，而是5级8都居民精神上你们需要什么。
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let us introduce you to our next speaker. He is the CEO and chairman of brighten Services International Limited, an international facilities management, property development and construction company. He is also the chairman of Advanced Environmental Services and Engineering Private Limited, FAESE Real Estate Private Limited.
接下来介绍的这位演讲嘉宾，他非常重要，因为如果这一次新加坡民主党的徐顺全博士当选进入国会的话，将会有一个交接的过程，也就是5级8都市政理事会的交接过程。那么我们怎么知道这个交接过程会不会顺利？新加坡民主党已经准备了一支团队，也就是说在这个过渡的时机，这个团队将会提供专业的顾问在那里进行这个交接工作。而接下来这位演讲者，他是杨有荣先生，他就是这个团队里头的其中一位专业顾问。
Ladies and gentlemen, let us give a big hand for Mr. Yu Yong.
欢迎杨有荣。
Very good evening, residents of Bukit Batok SMC, fellow Singaporeans. A very warm welcome to the SDP first by-election rally. We are on the verge of witnessing a significant by-election here at Bukit Batok SMC. I'm Yu Yong, and tonight I'll be speaking with you about the SDP's plans for the Town Council management. I'm indeed honored to have been asked to speak about this transition process of taking over the Town Council should the SDP be fortunate enough to win this by-election. I come from humble beginnings. Having left school after my SC examinations, I have gained extensive experience in the building maintenance industry and the related services since the 70s, where I spent 8 years in a statutory board. By the mid-1980s, up to the year 2009, I ran a company registered under the DCA with a paid-up capital of 1.5 million under the L5 category, working with managing agents, example EM Services, Esmaco, CPG, that spreads across many town councils. In the span of time, our company won a total of 7 gold medals with various town councils in the Iron-White Inter-Precinct Cleanliness Competition. It is an achievement that I am very proud of even to this day. I was just been told that it has not been unsurpassed. We also have undertaken jobs with various other authorities, notably HDB, CAAS, SIA, SAPS, CIAS, ICA, NPAC, NEA, and many others. My commitment to the residents of Bukit Batok as part of the SDP Town Council transition team will be to ensure that these standards are always demanded and expected. I'm sure some MAs and PAP MPs can vouch for us. Will also be attained by our service providers for this SMC. That is the promise of the SDP, and we will honor it. I have made many observations in the course of our work with MAs, and I'm privy to know how town councils have been managed and run about 2 decades since its inception in 1990. I can assure you that there will be marked differences in the way the SDP runs its town council. For a start, we will do away with the managing agents. Instead, the SDP will focus entirely on running the town council directly. We will have a team of experienced people in their respective fields of expertise to manage the day-to-day operations and administrative functions of the TC. In so doing, we hope to register savings in management of the town council. Residents can have a more personal touch when they have issues to raise with the SDP town council, including the MP, who was served on a full-time basis. Not depending on a managing agent, the SDP TC management team will get into direct contact with the residents in understanding real issues and needs of the estate firsthand. In all the years of experience working with managing agents, I noticed many of their staff will be more concerned about serving the MP rather than the residents' needs and complaints. Having a full-time MP to run the TC would mean Dr. G will be there for you, the residents of Bukit Batok, every day. He will oversee the day-to-day operations and management of the town council daily. We will look into the needs expeditiously. Procurements of service providers will be scrutinized carefully and thoroughly to ensure that contracts are awarded prudently to the most competitive bidder. We see a transparent process where residents of Bukit Batok can feel assured that the best appropriate service provider is selected without compromising on standards. The SDP has the experience running town councils in the past. Some of the personnel who helped hand the TCs in the past are still with the party. They will be called upon to reinforce the new team in our quest to make Bukit Batok town council management by the SBT something that the PAP will want to emulate, just like how they hijacked some of our policy papers. Our aim is to inculcate a team of dedicated people with a heart and passion to serve the people of Bukit Batok. We intend to run the town council proactively. I am willing to volunteer my personal time and effort to ensure the smooth running of the town council. We will adopt a preventive rather than a corrective approach in running the town council. The SDP Town Council management team will be trained to react to issues and concerns of residents positively and instantly. We will run a lean town council with a measured approach towards the budget without compromising the cleanliness, beauty and aesthetics of the estate. For those doubting Thomases who keep questioning the SVP's ability to manage town councils, let me assure you, we have a competent team to run even a GRC, let alone an SMC. In the course of my house visit, I have noted areas of neglect in the cleanliness and upkeep in the vicinities of the blocks I visited. We will ensure these areas are given top priority when we take over running of the TC. The SVP will work together with residents to make Bukit Batok SMC a beacon of Singapore, with the full cooperation of service providers who will be required to carry out their roles and responsibilities based on standards set by the SDP-TC. We will encourage residents to partake in the upkeep of the estate to make Bukit Batok a place they can be proud of. The SDP is committed in serving Bukit Batok to the best of its abilities. We will leave no stones unturned in striving to make Bukit Batok the best estate to live in. Now is the time for you to give SDP a chance to show what we can do for you. I don't have a string of degrees to offer you. I am not a paper general. I come from the school of hard knocks. I am a Rhodes Scholar
ROAD. So, vote for the SDP. Vote Dr. Chi into Parliament to serve you. Good night, everybody.
谢谢杨有荣，他今天来到现场是很重要的，因为他是让大家知道，新加坡民主党他们其实如果当选的话，进入国会的时候，他们已经做好准备接管58都市政理事会，所以他们有一个过渡小组，里头都是专业人士。
Yeah, Yon is a very important speaker because he's part of the SDP Town Council Transition Team. In case the weather is going to rain, please do not be worried. We have the SDP umbrella. And where can you get it? Right behind at the booth. Okay, the SDP umbrella.
好，这个雨伞在后面的 SDP 的摊位你都可以获得，而且在那里有书籍之外，还有其他的纪念品。希望大家多多益善，你永远不知道你捐出的每一份心意可以帮助他们走怎么样的路，因为我们都知道在新加坡政治道路是非常崎岖的，所以希望大家可以支持他们走下去。
Thank you. Allow me to introduce our next speaker. He is Mr. Sada, as most of you might know, especially the residents of Bukit Batok. He is SDP ex-candidate for 2016 Bukit Batok constituency. A lot of people has asked, why him? Why not him? And I myself also asked Sada, and Sada gave me a very touching reply. Because Dr. Chi deserves to be in Parliament to speak up for us. 25 years of Dr. Chi's commitment to Singapore, he deserves to be in Parliament to speak up for us.
接下来这位演讲者，他的心胸非常宽大，因为在去年2015年大选的时候，他代表了民主党出征了5级8都单选区，但是这次补选却没有他上阵，而是他把这个位子让给了徐顺水博士。当他们问说为什么你要把这个位子让出来的时候，他的回答是：徐顺水博士比我更值得进入国会，而且国会需要他这样的人，另外一种声音，另外一种可能性为民发言。
Now is the time. Now is the time to vote for Dr. Chi into Parliament. Now is the time to support the SDP.
好，我们要欢迎下一位演讲者桑达西麦先生。
Fellow Singaporeans, Mr. Sada.
Vote for Dr. Chi. Vote for Dr. Chi. Vote for SDP. Para pengundi, masa dah tiba. Undi SDP. Jadikan Dr. Chi Member of Parliament untuk Bukit Batok. Di dalam Parlimen, dia akan jadi suara anda. Sebab itu, kita boleh jalankan hidupan kita. Bila PAP nak tukar undang-undang, hidupan kita yang nak jadi susah. Kita mesti nak ada orang opposition dalam parlimen, baru kita boleh jalankan hidupan kita. So jangan lupa, bila 7 hari bulan, bila nak undi SDP. Jangan lupa. Terima kasih. Dear friends and fellow citizens, I would like to place on record my sincere thanks and appreciation for the 26.4% Bukit Batok voters who have supported me. I'm very grateful indeed to all of you, because we know we are here to serve you. So last election, we tried our best, but unfortunately, PAP made many promises. Most of you could have received these pamphlets distributed by David Ong. The last election issue. Please refer to the last page where he has said It's the privilege to serve you. That's exactly what he said. It's the privilege to serve you. Where is he now? Where is he? 73% voted for him. You believe in his promises. You believe what he said. 73% voted for him. But within 6 months, he has vanished from the political scene. As a politician, if you are standing for election, your concentration should be to serve you. That is very, very important. Not about personal life. If you have got other interests, if you have got other commitment, you should not be standing for election. Yes or no? Please ask the PAP candidates, why must they cheat you? Now by calling for a by-election, rightfully, PAP should be ashamed of itself. They do not have ethical value and moral value to stand for election because they cheated you. They have promised you they will serve. This is exactly what David Ong stated. But it's disappeared. We are wasting public money by calling for by-election. Rightfully, when PAP candidates, if some morally comes to your place, please tell it. You should not be standing, you should be withdrawing. Let Dr. Chi, the Member of Parliament, because SDP is not running away. Last election we stood in Bukit Batok. Here again we are standing in Bukit Batok. We are not running away. Our intention is only to serve you. That's right. Please remember, vote for Dr. Chi. Once he is in the Parliament, he is going to be an effective voice. He is, in fact, I am very proud to be associated with Dr. Chi. He has been in politics for more than 30 years. He has stood for many elections. He has been victimized. He has been punished. He has been penalized. And yet he is still standing for election. What more than he won? What more than he won? Have you seen any PAP candidate standing like that? After getting elected, the 73% disappeared. One word, I'm sorry. That's all. But now, millions of dollars which belong to you, public money is being thrown for by-election. Ashamed. Try the PAP candidates. Do not forget that. Now, one more important point. All along we have been telling the cost of medical has gone up. Make it affordable. Make Singapore citizens and those who are residing in Bukit Batok, the cost must be affordable. But what the PAP candidates are telling, so don't worry. Those who can't afford, we will give you peanuts. We will help you. Why must they ask you to be a beggar? They should respect you. It is your contribution. All these years you have worked hard to make Singapore a progress country. Country is very rich. People are poor. Now they are telling, no problem, we will help you financially. Aren't you ashamed? We are asking for our entitlement. Make it the cost affordable so that everybody can pay for it. Why must we stand in a queue and ask the government, please give me some money? It's a shame. This is what the PAP is doing. So don't forget, by sending Dr. Chi into Parliament, we are going to have a voice, an effective voice, who is going to be a better server than myself. That's the reason why I requested Dr. Chi to be a candidate. He can serve you better. I'm very proud indeed to be associated with Dr. Chi. 30 years he has contributed. He deserves to be in Parliament. Well informed, well trained, well exposed. energetic, we can contribute effectively. By electing Dr. Chi, you're not going to get only one SDP guy to help you. The whole SDP team is going to be in Bukit Batok to serve you. Remember that, dear friends, please vote for Dr. Chi. வாக்காள பெருமக்களே, மீண்டும் சந்திப்பதில் மகிழ்ச்சி அடைகிறேன். மறந்து விடாதீர்கள், தேர்தல் தினத்தன்று சிங்கப்பூர் ஜனநாயக கட்சிக்கு வாக்களிக்க மறவாதீர்கள். உங்களுடைய எதிர்காலத்தை கருத்தில் கொண்டு SDPக்கு வாக்களியுங்கள். மருத்துவ செலவீனம் உயர்ந்து கொண்டிருக்கின்றது. மருத்துவ செலவீனத்தை குறைப்பதற்கு நாடாளுமன்றத்தில் குரல் கொடுக்க நமக்கு ஆள் தேவை. இப்பொழுது நம் எதிர்கட்சியினரை நாடாளுமன்றத்தில் அனுப்பவில்லை என்றால் நமக்கென குரல் கொடுக்க யாரும் இல்லை. கவனத்தில் கொண்டு வாக்களியுங்கள். அன்பு கூர்ந்து உங்களிடம் நான் கேட்டுக்கொள்வதெல்லாம் இதுதான், வாக்களியுங்கள். Dear friends, please remember, when you go for the voting, vote for SDP, vote for Dr. Chi. Do not forget, urge each and every voter to vote for SDP. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you, Mr. Sada.
谢谢桑达西曼先生，一个非常有胸襟的无私精神的人。那今天晚上人还是你们可以移到中间来，因为我们快要进入最后的重点了。那么如果今天晚上你还听不够的话，我们会告诉你下一次我们的 rally 是在什么时候。但是如果你想要更了解新加坡民主党的话，后面的摊位还是可以提供你很多很多的讯息还有纪念品的。那么我们要介绍下一位。
Right. All right. Not really, but all right, ladies and gentlemen, we would also like to appeal to you to support our merchandise sales. One of it is this umbrella, this beautiful payung over here. For the Malays, jangan cakap abang tak payung, eh? We got a lot of merchandise being sold at our booth right behind you. So do support our merchandise sales later on.
后面是要雨伞有雨伞，要衣服有衣服，要书籍有书籍，所以你可以到后面去看。如果你觉得你只想捐助的话，那也无所谓，更是欢迎你。今天晚上我们在群众大会结束之后，将会有一个签书会，也就是徐顺全博士会为你的书亲自签名。等一下我会告诉你更多的讯息。接下来这位演讲者。
All right, we will now touch on our town council plans.
还没有。Okay.
The SDP has set up a town council plans for Bukit Batok. Well, basically, the SDP has unveiled its Bukit Batok The SDP has unveiled its Bukit Batok Town Council transition team at a press conference on the 10th of April. Its mission of the Bukit Batok Town Council transition team is to ensure the smooth transfer of the town council from its predecessor. Drawing on their respective expertise, the team will oversee the hiring of key professionals while monitoring the progress and deadlines as stated in the SDP Town Council plan. Some crucial milestones for the team include the taking over of the physical office, balance sheet as of cutoff, balances of management funds, accounts receivables and their age, accounts payable, historical government grants by the mix and composition of housing and flat types, as well as the existing contracts for estate management.
所以每一次当反对党要接管一个市政理事会的时候，我们都会有很多疑问：他们做得到吗？他们有这个准备吗？他们会被搞砸了？但是告诉你，这一次新加坡民主党他们有一个过渡的团队，也就是说，这过渡团队里头有他们的专业人士提供咨询。刚才也听到的杨有荣先生，他就是有很丰富的经验来管理市政理事会，所以在这个过渡团队里头，其实也非常的公开和透明。他们在记者会的时候已经公布了这个团队里头有谁，所以让大家知道他们已经做好了准备。一旦当选的话，他们将会有能力接管乌基巴都市政理事会。
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker, I'd like to introduce our next speaker. He was one of our candidates for the GE 2015. He joined the SDP in the 1990s and was the founding member of Young Democrats, which is the youth wing of the SDP. He later became its vice president and then its president. He was the youngest member to be elected to the Central Executive Committee of the party. He stood in Hongkong GRC in 2001 GE and again in Marsiling UT GRC in the 2015 general elections.
接下来这位演讲者，其实你如果去投票的话，也应该对他很熟悉，因为他曾经在2001年代表民主党在丰家集选区参加竞选，然后又在2015年的大选再次代表民主党竞选马西岭油池集选区，他就是林文星先生。
Please give a big hand for Mr. Brian Lim.
欢迎林文星。
后尾朋友听到无？听到啊！各位亲爱的布吉巴多的选民，各位亲爱的朋友，大家好！三月尾前，我人伫这选区访问时间，我拄到一个布吉巴多的翁哥，翁哥问我，安怎咱民主党到选举前来？伊讲问。安怎讲选举？唔是六个真正嘛了选。MP 走咯。我回答伊，安哥你问我三个问题，但是我问你一个答案，答案就是你爱问地你黄金法啦。啊，我唔知。各位，你知我甲安哥讲什无？安哥，黄金法办个代志那是无插销啦，无兴趣啦。上重要是，咱民主党是来为布吉巴多的选民来到拍拼的。今日大选的时候 ，PAP 的候选人哦，新恩，伊讲咱民主党需要出brighten的。我要甲伊讲，咱 PAP 都跟食啦，咱需要出奥破啊！按照你讲的，4月14號伫國會內面，陳順生部長講，伊講保證的，伊講伊絕對袂互人民社會 People's Association 互黨派利用。什麼嘅3月以後 ，PAP 候選人無愛你，甲布吉巴多雙龍社會，英文叫布吉巴多 Merchants Association。伊大摆会拿球场举办这嘉年华会，英文叫 Carnival。举办这 Carnival， 举办这嘉年华会是无啥啦。但问题是，布吉巴多双龙社会的这会长是人民社会会员，伊嘛是布吉巴多第5区RC 的会长。各位，这就是奥博。有公平无？陈俊生公布着讲话，讲的话有巴结无？第一大选唔知哪机会，我唔是讲过了。PAP 真爱卖罗蒂巴达啦。安怎呢？因为讲话真爱骗来骗去。各位。PAP 的部长伫国会里讲一套，外口的候选人啊，做另外一套。你看政党，你看候选人，你使走无？你看候选人相是无？是袂使选，你投民主党，市村人博士一票好无？我本身甲市村人博士相伴17年。伊向来是讲会到、做会到的同事，各位，伊要做一全职的议员，伊保证用信心管理好伊布吉巴多的市票费，因为咱党有一个有经验的团队，已经准备好伫头100日交给市政会的代志，我当嘛承诺。出版一份中期财务报告，先交给手的传订报告，公布计算计划，
先起一个全年的工作计划。下班不给办到的选民，你咱会记礼拜先上22:09。所以，中国巴岛的选民，你就免担心，咱民主党你知影咱工作的进度，你记者咱民主党按怎有效率，会好好管理你的市长。所以，请你投票给咱民主党，给咱徐孙川博士这机会，好不好？顶几个礼拜，我来东莞甲志讲，有一名伫大牌180几号访问，徛到手机头尾变好心，伊敢若讲一个消息，伊讲RC的人介绍无啦你是啥物？伊讲你是暂时的议员呐。各位，3月12号，往金华市集，副总理大满有讲了，游龙的议员李必胜暂时照顾布吉巴岛的选区，到补选他来选新的议员，到了轮到无啦你做暂时的议员。伊马路是布吉巴岛 PAP 支部的主席，唔是啥物暂时的议员啦。我不要紧嘞，PAP 候选人讲伊一手服务16年啊，伊讲布吉巴岛的选民会捌伊的，这一个月半来，咱的东莞、甲志江，就像这边徛这边的选民，拢总讲唔捌伊啊。我无相信啊！我开始问一个印度的安哥叫 Mr. Chandra， 伊讲伊徛到31年，从来捌听过伊啊。我讲着，这先上22:00年，为这154A 巴萨的代志。PAP 候选人讲啥物？伊讲伊2000年伊甲先上商用的，卖互巴萨变人气的。各位，你看这张2009 10月10号海峡时报的报告，后生部早就规定了，154A 巴萨袂使变人气，根本就免无啦你去商量的。各位，这是咪抢公地？这有理由无？各位，PAP 候选人讲啥物？伊讲伊要用190万来起有空的航路，还有3大的公园啊，英文叫 3G Park。You know, friends, initially we thought it was a pretty backward idea because everyone's using 4G now. 我咧论PAP候选人无啦你，你家己的部长陈川军就甲咱讲了，伊讲啥物来讲？老人捡纸皮就才 exercise 了，这无啦你，你要了小你做啥物？无啦你佫威胁你，讲你无投伊的票，伊就无办法起这项物件。伊讲伊问过你的。伊讲是你人爱的，无给巴岛选民，这正是是你爱的无？有问过你无？所以，各位无给巴岛的选民，你若是拄着无啦你啊，你问伊3个问题。你讲第一，你正是伫无给巴岛服务16年。你安怎当甲准下来起档起赛？第二，起这几项物件是一个做议员上基本的工课，那才也才来威胁我投你票。第三个问题，王金华讲第大选伊讲的，伊讲伊要开2400万来起档起赛。你问有啦你，到底到底有开无？ 啊是路开，按怎你讲了190万做什么？啊是往金发无开，你讲话我卖再搁重新了，对不对？各位，咱民主党的做法是无同款，啊是其实咱都是当选，伊就伫咧楼骹开会，问咱人意见，问咱到底爱改善什么物件？因为布吉巴多是 BAP 的，布吉巴多是越南的。所以，也是你无需甲 BAP 的后部，你也是要些尊重你的政党。请你人5月1号到民主党起诉团博士一票，好不好？上起诉团博士去讲话，好不好？SDP， Dr. Tree，SDP， Dr. Tree， 感謝大家。
Thank you, Brian Lin, for your very passionate speech.
谢谢林文信先生，还有他的热忱，还有他的方言。如果你还想帮助新加坡民主党的话，请到后面的摊位去，那里有很多的纪念品，你每一份心意都是对他们的支持，所以谢谢大家。而且在群众大会之后，徐世全博士也会亲自在这里为你举行签书会，也就是说，你每一本书，不管你排多长的长龙，你还是可以得到他的签名的。
For those of you who doesn't know where our merchandise booths are located, they are just right behind you. All the red tanks over there. We have very friendly volunteers and members of the SDP. You can approach them to see our merchandise and support us. And Dr. Chi will also be here to autograph the books that you bought. Next, allow me to introduce our last speaker, and he is none other than candidate for Bukit Batok by-election, Dr. Sun Juan.
接下来出场的就是影响很久的徐世全博士。
I know Dr. Chi needs no introduction, okay? But let me introduce to you the book that he wrote, Democratically Speaking. The book that he sold this book to raise funds for his bankruptcy. Many people, especially supporting the PAP, has been asking, slamming him online, saying, what does he do for a living? For those of you, if you don't know, Dr. Chi sells his book for a living, so that he can dedicate his time to SDP, and when he is elected, he will dedicate his time to serve Bukit Batok constituency full time.
你看到这本书，就是当初徐世全博士靠这本书的收入才能重新站起来，而脱离的他当初破产的那个状况，而重新可以再走这条路来服务新加坡的人民。所以，如果你想支持的话，请到后面去。
Allow us to introduce our last speaker, candidate for Bukit Batok by-election, Dr. Sun Juan.
欢迎我们最后一位演讲者，这次58都补选的候选人徐世全博士。
Salam sejahtera kepada semua sebahat dan penduduk Bukit Batok. saya telah mula mengunjungi Anda sejak beberapa minggu yang lalu dan berharap dapat mengunjungi semua penduduk dalam masa yang terdekat ini. Sekiranya kita belum lagi bertemu, saya mahu Anda ketahui bahawa sekiranya saya dipilih sebagai AP Anda, keutamaan saya ialah untuk menjaga estate perumahan Anda dan mengurus majlis bandaran Bukit Batok secara produktif dan cekap. Saya akan melaksanakan tugas saya sebagai AP secara sepenuh masa. Ini akan membolehkan saya menumpukan perhatian saya sepenuhnya kepada keperluan dan keprihatinan Anda. Selain itu, saya juga akan menjadi suara alternatif Anda di Parlimen dan membawa harapan, impian dan inspirasi Anda ke Parlimen. Oleh itu, sokonglah SDP, sokonglah saya dalam pilihan raya kecil ini. Kami sekeluarga menyampaikan rasa kasih dan yang terbaik buat Anda sekeluarga. Terima kasih. Vanakkam Bukit Batok. Wakalagale. Ninggal yanakya azaragu turutal. Nan ungaluka mulunera MP yaga sabe kurven. Ungal tabe gulukaga atiga neram se paduven. Kaum sele miga seranda murai naratuven. Parlamenti Ungalu daya kuralaga European itu urudi. Nandri Vanakkam. Tajahau. Auntie, uncle, abang. 我很荣幸参加这个补选，很兴奋，很高兴看到这么多人来参加我们的今晚的行动大会。没有想到从大选去年的大选这么快，我们又再有这个竞选了。我会用福建话跟国语、华文常常讲，你们听得懂，我就很高兴。天赐给你的，你要努力。这个不算，现在嘴本堆很多问题，很多事件，我要跟你们解释。第一个就是这个补选内，我们就要选 PAP 的候选人，或许 SDP 的候选人，你们要好好的考虑，看你们要投谁的票。投你的票。如果我们选上错的候选人，我们的前途就会很失望。我来解释给你们听一听。第一条，第几条，就是莫拉利先生他要盖这个3代红糖的公园，但是呢，莫拉利先生一讲这个公园只有我当选一东算一再来搞了去。我签了个我心里丢， 在提名那天星期三，我就在克明的小学业务等里，我讲给记者听，我讲穆拉利先生的传单跟人讲，我要全心全意来为你们服务。但是呢，你讲有条件啊，你想想看，要为全心全意为你们服务，但是呢，你们要选我，我没选不上，我不懂算，我不要为你们全心全意来服务。有这个代志吗？你跟咱做父母，跟咱囝讲啊，是你讲你无爱给我钱，我不要疼你们，我不要养你们，有这件事吗？我就听了这个我就很失望。但是呢，我那样子讲的时候，在报纸有登，他就昨天一直巴拉嘞。巴拉也巴拉刚不信，一讲无啦，无论谁当选 ，PAP 还是 SDP， 这个公园他还是会盖。我钱要放心，靠欢喜淡薄，我爱改告改搞了，对不？我们要做不好听的时候，会一直在跟他吵这件事，但是没有关系，他有那样讲，我们就说算了吧，但是呢，他在这个方面，你记不记得那个黄金焕他去年大选的时候。跟大家讲，你讲，你若是算我好的提小贩中心，有无？你们记不记得要盖这个乐龄护理中心？还有这个儿童保护的中心，隆重一共要有差不多2400万。但是呢，穆拉利先生一讲出来，伊讲伊爱这个公园，伊讲190万，但是伊不会去讲黄金发有这些计划了。所以我要跟大家讲说，那边还漏，我会当乌吉巴都的全职的国议员，我会好好的把我们这区我们的植物区好好的照顾。我会把黄金发他的计划，把东西你们要的小贩中心、这个乐龄护理中心跟这个儿童保护中心，我们的会把它继续他们计划把它盖起来。我当这边的全职的国会议员，我在白天会在乌吉巴都。穆拉利先生呢，他白天的时候他在哪里呢？他在他的办公室。如果你白天的时候你有问题，你有碰到什么重要的事情，你要跟人家国会议员讨论，要跟他们讲报告。如果是我当你的国会议员，你只要去布吉巴多这边的 Bukit Batok Central 中心，对不对？但是呢，如果你白天的时候，穆拉利先生是你的国会议员，你要跑到 山登威哦，你要坐那个 MRT 跑到山登威，啊，你希望那个 MRT 不会出问题，因为最近哦没有把握的，我不给。此外，我会在国会里替你们出声发言。现在国会国会这阵有81个毕业议员，你加一个82个，有什么差别无？穆拉利先生他说他要当你们的代表，在国会。
他是业绩动物。
但是呢，你们要了解，他的老板是谁？他的老板是李显龙，他的党的秘书长。啊，李显龙啊讲什么？穆拉利先生有办法反对我？不可能的。李显龙说 A。他只说 A， 李显龙说 B， 他只叫做 B。一不是讲较多嘞，一讲较多吼，下个大选吼，李显龙不要派他当候选人，那怎么办？
进去监牢。
但是呢，谁是我的老板？我不会听李显龙跟我讲的话，跟我讲这样就是这样子，不可能。我的老板就是你们，选民。我听的是谁的话，就是听你们的话。我举一个例子给你们听，说如果我当选，还是如果穆拉利先生当选啊？现在我知道你们生活过得也是不简单。你去高边店，你啉一杯高边，好了啊！这种以前是8角，起了9角，起了1块，这种微那种1块2，对无？你食嘢落地冰，我牛油放街啊！开始无来2粒2，3块8啊，对不对？你们想一想看就好。那物件就是起点。3块8哦。啊了，讲咱去巴萨，你拿50块去，买无2项物件，买淡薄菜啦，买淡薄肉啦，买淡油啦，转来离开了，无项2项物件。部长他们了解吗？一般人了解无？他们哪里可能了解我们住在这些 SDP 的，我们的困难，我们的辛苦在哪里？每一个都是百万富翁，徛的厝拢用食风厝，比咱的白车的位吼，比我咱的厝吼更大间的。你好好听哦，李总理月薪水哦，一日吼8000块。唔是一年哦，唔是一天嘞，唔是一个月嘞，一天呢就8000块，保养一日5000块。你好好算，你好好算，你爱做偌久，你再赚8000块。做个死！伊安迪。我去看伊个比店，老安迪70几岁，伊个手盘7多顶，问伊你一个月做偌少？伊讲1000块，你一日做偌久？8点钟，你一个礼拜做几日？6日。我1000块都无。伊就爱做1个月，就爱做8个月，一直赚。李总理一日的薪水。你们想一想，天之骄子，穆拉利先生，他会不会支去国会，替你们这个出声，替你们这个发言呢？不会，不会，我也是要问 穆拉利先生，他觉得他今天或者昨天，他说他不用当全职的国会议员。你想想看哈，国会议员哈，一个月哈有15000、15,000，不是薪水哦，他们叫 allowance。
在那边跳卡，滚啊！
我是讲
有卡，
你们有这种的钱，你还觉得你们不要当全职的国会议员吗？你还觉得你应该要当part-time的吗？所以我就想说，我唔知你哪有听这，我唱这福建歌100万。你无听哦，你个电脑了，你开来听，还是阿伯阿姆啊？你若是袂晓开哦，你叫你囝开互你听，100万。我是问5个巴多5、7、8多的居民这边呐，如果他们如果有100万呐，100万，哎呀，用咧，伊人讲唔知，唔捌想过要你做类。但是咧，我讲，哎，一世人咧，赚钱赚无到100万，我咱无变，赚那么多钱，但是我讲不要紧，我会进入国会替你们 fight， 我会进入国会来倒下手，让慢慢一步让会进步。搁一条代志咧，搁一条问题咧。我有时有讲，但是早起在 MLB 上有碰到有一个先生，他跟我讲，这个你们回去看一看啊。你等厝哈，你拿你举一点的单来看，哦，你看你用一水偌济钱哦，他们政府加上税30%，啊是讲你用20块。伊人甲你个算那 tax 30%，唔是有26块，唔是26块那边吼，伊个你甲你贴，都甲你落落去消费税 GST 7%。伊人我跟你讲，国定吼，他们不感觉到这些都是对我们来钱是说是钱来的。进入国会把这些问题。跟这个政府来辩论，穆拉利先生会不会？
不会。
现在连我们的卡巴的钱，哦，他们也就起了。现在他们说星期天哦，卡巴那个修理了。有些人问，你是一个人，你可以做什么呢？对不对？多一个人。但是那天我有一个昂哥在。大排154那边，他们在早上在做的时候，他们在聊天。杨哥他又讲，他说不可以那样想的啊！如果我们在国会有多个反对党，政府的态度，政府的态度会变。那是反对党的国会，伊咱讲了有道理，报纸会登。人家会看到，哦，这个反对党他们会讲的有道理，人家再一次下次的大选他们会支持，慢慢的我们的反对党哦会慢慢的在国会里面再走。安哥，我跟你们讲一下，政府要小心 ，PAP 他们还没有。竞选以前，越正手一放一个鸡腿，你投票过了，一多手甲你真正鸡甲你夹回来。外在你人会康复，外在你人会激心，外在你人会希望。但是咧，你人爱支持。那是我无入国会，我们没有办法来替你发言。 不变可能倒下去。外在的人担心说，如果我们选民主党，我们的主屋会不会翻新？我跟你讲，你放心，我跟你讲了，政府讲了 ，PAP 有声音，讲无论谁当选，不管是行动党或是民主党，我们这个计划，我们也是会继续的。所以我跟你讲说，放心，好不好？你们要会投民主党的票，你会有一个全职的国会议员，真的会为你们全心全意的来为你们服务。所以下个星期六5月7号，你们要投 SDP 的票，支持我们民主党，好不好？好！祝大家好运，祝大家平安、身体健康，谢谢你，谢谢。Good evening, my friends.
Good evening, sir.
How are you?
Fine. So far, so good. Never better.
I cannot tell you how excited I am to be back in this constituency to contest the by-election. To be honest, we never expected to meet with you like this so soon after the general elections last year.
Soon.
But something happened. And Mr. David Ong had to resign, and so we are here at a by-election in Bukit Batok.
So thank you to him.
I remember distinctly when I was in the middle of a conference, when one of my colleagues whispered to me, "David Ong resigned, David Ong resigned."
Good news.
And I was thinking to myself, who's David Ong?
Good news, sir.
And it didn't occur to me that it was the MP until he said, "Bukit Batok."
Good news.
Then it dawned on me.
Scandal.
And it didn't take long for us to decide that we would contest in the by-election.
All right.
My only reservation at first about being a candidate was that with a surname like mine, taking part in a by-election, oh my gosh, can you imagine the internet is going to have a field day making fun of it? And it has. But seriously, it's good to be back in this constituency. The SDP had stood in Bukit Batok in 1991, and we performed credibly, coming close by garnering 48.2% of the vote. Seeing this, the PAP put Bukit Batok SMC into the Bukit Timah GRC for the 1997 general elections, and thereafter into the Jurong GRC. Then after nearly 20 years, it decided it was safe again for Bukit Batok to become a single seat. This is the way that PAP plays the game. Whenever it seems an SMC is going to be won by the opposition, it quickly withdraws the boundary. You remember Juche? When it was about to fall to the WP, the PAP quickly roped it into the Marine Parade GRC. Now the PAP says, hey, where was the SDP all these years? You see how they operate? We have been campaigning very hard in Bukit Panjang, Holland Bukit Timah, Marsiling and so on. And then from out of the blue, the PAP suka announces at the last minute that after 20 years, mind you, that Bukit Batok will become an SMC again. This is the kind of game that it plays. And then it tries to distract you and says, oh, where is the opposition? And then it tells you that its candidate, Mr. Murali, was in Bukit Batok for 16 years, neglecting to mention that he was a candidate in the Aljunied GRC in the 2015 GE. By the way, over the past few weeks, most of the residents whom we have met told us they have not seen or know of Mr. Murali. Be that as it may, We in the SDP, we don't look back. We never say die. Instead, we always say, yes, we can. We look ahead, always with a can-do spirit. So when we heard that Bukit Batok had become an SMC, again, we immediately said that we were going to contest here. Why? Because we feel that this is home to us.
Why?
That in a sense, the SDP has come home. 我们回来了。Kita sudah balik kampung. And so I hope that you are just as excited as I am about this by-election. I'm excited for a couple of reasons. The first is that we now have the opportunity to run the town council because this gives us a chance to organize the resources and rally the Bukit Batok community to bigger and better things. Running the town council will allow the SDP to shine and demonstrate our competence. As your MP, I will dedicate myself full-time to performing my role in managing the town council and the estate as well as attending to your needs. My priority is to ensure that the estate is taken care of with maximum efficiency and minimum wastage. On this point, you have my word. But I don't want to just tell you that we will be competent managers of the Bukit Batok Town Council. I want to demonstrate to you that how we're going to go about it. Already we have formed a transition team that will ensure a smooth handover process from the PAP team should we win the election. The team comprises of 4 accountants, 3 estate managers, 6 lawyers to help us with this transition phase and to oversee the transition period and make sure that the new SDP-run Bukit Gombak Town Council works without a hitch, all from day one. In addition, we will not appoint a managing agent, as this will add another layer of expenses to the residents. As I said, I will dedicate myself, apart from my parliamentary duties, to the proper management of town council operations. We will employ experienced managers to head the various departments. You see, the reason why your conservancy and service charges are so high is because PAP MPs, after they get elected, outsource the running of the town council to profit-making companies. In other words, if you vote for the PAP, you are electing an MP and then paying another business to run your estate. In the meantime, the MP collects his allowance of $15,000 and smiles all the way to the bank. PAP MPs only work part-time for you. Not bad, right? $15,000 for a part-time job? And then Mr. Morelli says he doesn't need to be a full-time MP to do the job. He's right. If you contract out the running of the town council and if you get all the volunteers to do your work for you. But if you want to ensure that you personally see to the running of a productive town council, take charge of the problems of the state, and more importantly, tend to the needs of the residents, there is no way, absolutely no way, that you can be a part-time MP. There is no earthly way that you can deliver a full-time job, quality of service, by doing only part-time work. If like that, everybody also know how to do it, right? Work part-time, get full-time pay. Not bad. Next time, why don't you try walking into your boss's office and say, hey boss, I got an idea. I come in part-time only, but you pay me full-time, okay? And you see what your boss says. Please, don't insult the people's intelligence. Mr. Murali says that an MP is not a one-man show. He has to work with others as a team. I know that. By the same token, he is not a one-man operation in his law firm. He has a team, apparently dozens of lawyers and secretaries to help him. So I'll make Mr. Murali this proposition. Since he has people helping him in his law firm, and he will have people helping him in the town council if he wins, if he is elected, why not do a swap? He comes into the town council during the day, and when he finishes the work as an MP in Bukit Batok, then you go to your office in Shenton Way and finish up whatever you have to do there. In that way, you can still have your job as a lawyer and as an MP. All you're doing is just to give Bukit Batok your priority. That's all. I hope that Mr. Murali can tell Bukit Batok residents whether he will do this in the coming days. You see, ladies and gentlemen, it's all about priority. In life, in everything we do, we have choices to make. And the things we choose reflect what is most important to us. Agree? If I ask you to choose between your children or $1 million, which would you choose?
I choose my children.
You don't even have to think. Mr. Murali's choice of not committing himself full-time to Bukit Batok, and I'm not saying this, that it's a bad choice for him and his family. In fact, I think it's good for him because he has talent and his clients obviously need his services, and we shouldn't begrudge him doing it and making his money. But it does reflect what is closest to his heart. And home is where the heart is. Me? There is no question. My heart is here. Full time in Bukit Batok. When Mr. Murali wakes up in the morning, his first destination is his office. When I wake up in the morning, my first destination is Bukit Batok. Priority. It's all about priority.
Priority is my lowest son.
And speaking of priority, I want to raise the issue of a 3-generation park that Mr. Murali promised residents. He said that it would be built at a cost of $1.9 million. But sadly, he also said that it would be built only if he is elected. I don't want to misrepresent him, so I will quote him as it was reported in the Straits Times. He said, this plan, this $1.9 million plan we are presenting, is a plan by the PAP Jurong Clementi Town Council. We will have the mandate to carry on only if we are returned at the by-election.
Why must we return?
Unquote. I find such an attitude absolutely appalling. So I called him up on this during nomination day on Wednesday. I said that if he truly cared, if he genuinely cared about the residents, he would not say that the park would only be built if he was elected. The rationale behind building a 3-generation park is to bring grandparents, parents and children closer together, right? You mean to say that if Mr. Murali is not elected, he is then not interested in fostering closer ties in families? What is your priority? Is it your party? Is it yourself? Or is it your residents? if you truly care about the residents, you would say, I want to be elected. But if voters want my opponent as their MP, then I respect their wishes. And I will work with the elected MP to still build a park, because my priority is the residents' well-being, not the PAP's, not mine. And after I pointed this out on Wednesday, Mr. Murali then ke belakang pusing. And he said yesterday that no, whoever is elected, the park can be built. Again, I want to quote him verbatim. He said, quote, the 1.9 million project is a funding neutral project. It's not really dependent on whether the PAP wins or loses, unquote. If we wanted to be nasty about it, we would start attacking Mr. Murali, right? Either for being confused or for flip-flopping. And we'll keep harping on this for the remainder of this campaign. But that's not what we want to do. We want to come back to what you, the voters in Bukit Batok, really care about. And that is your everyday lives. Now, since Mr. Murali and also the PAP has clarified that whoever wins this election, whichever party runs the constituency, the government will work with the MP and the town council will build these projects. This is important to remember, my friends. Whoever wins this by-election, the upgrading projects will be carried out. This includes the projects that the former MP here, Mr. David Ong, promised in the general elections last year. Mr. Ong told you that he would build, among other things, a hawker center, elder care and child care centers, and has allocated $24 million for these projects. The curious thing is that Mr. Murali didn't mention any of these projects when he unveiled his $1.9 million 3G Park project. Maybe he forgot about it. But that's okay. Because if I am elected as your MP, I will make sure that these projects come into fruition. It's been 6 months since Mr. Ong was elected, and I'm sure plans have been made, blueprints have been drawn up, funds have been allocated, and so on. I will follow up on these plans and make sure that the projects come into fruition and completion, and residents in this town can look forward to a new hawker center, elder care and child care centers. And because I will do the MP's job full-time, I will not contract out the running of the town council to a business to make a profit from you. By working directly with the staff, we will be able to save on the managing agent's fees, and we will be able to pass the savings back to you, thus keeping your conservancy charges to a minimum. The PAP tells you that the Bukit Batok Town Council will enjoy economies of scale if it remains in the Jurong Clementi Town Council. What it doesn't tell you is that by employing a managing agent and refusing to have its MPs work full-time, it unnecessarily raises expenses for you. Not only does the PAP contract out the management of the town council, it collects a whole lot of fees from you, building up huge surpluses, and then invests these funds in risky projects. In 2008, 8 PAP town councils lost $16 million by investing in failed financial products from Lehman Brothers. This will not happen in Bukit Batok under my watch, ladies and gentlemen. We will consult you on what we should do with your surplus. We don't only tell you what we are going to do. We have listed out specific things that we will accomplish at the end of the first 100 days. These goals include, number 1, a comprehensive report of transition and handover processes. 2, a clear town council budgetary plan. 3, the first financial interim report. 4, the work plan for the first 12 months of the town council operations. And 5, a set of maintenance strategies. I have just mentioned a few. There are others which we will list out in our town council promise to you, which you can read on our website. GrowSDP.org. And why do we do this? Why do we go through the whole trouble of telling you specifically what will be done, by whom and by when? We do this because we not only want to match the current levels of management of PAP-run town councils, we want to surpass them. We want to set new standards for transparency and accountability in town council governance. We do this because we want to be held accountable. Our mission is to run a competent, transparent, and accountable town council, and the only way to do this is to tell you, Bukit Batok residents, right from the beginning, concrete steps that we're going to take and the goals we're going to achieve. In other words, we invite you to track our performance. If we succeed, we will have earned your confidence. If we fail, you will be able to hold us accountable and kick us out at the next election. That's what transparency and accountability is all about. If we are going to call out the PAP for its non-transparent and non-accountable governance, a dangerous problem which I will elaborate in the next few rallies, then we must be able to do better than that. But as your MP, I don't want to focus only on the hardware. I want Bukit Batok to be a place where there is goodness in our hearts, where we not only keep our corridors swept and our lift landings clean, but we will also build a caring community, one that all of you can be proud of. At the next rally, I will lay out our plans on how we are going to do this. The second reason why I'm excited about running in this by-election is that I have a chance to get into Parliament to speak up for you. This is the perfect opportunity to elect another opposition MP because the PAP has formed the government. Why elect me? Why not Mr. Murali? Running town council is just one part of the job. The other part is to ensure that your voice, your views are heard in Parliament. An MP must be able to raise your concerns and hardships in Parliament and bring them to the government's attention and press it to act on your concerns. Hand on heart. Hand on heart. How many of you think that Mr. Murali will be able to do this better than I can in Parliament? Do you think Mr. Murali will be different from his other 81 fellow MPs and ask the hard questions that must be asked in Parliament and debate the ministers from his own party? Will he ask why ministers' salaries are so high while so many of us are struggling with the cost of living? Will he ask for SDP to open up its books to find out how much SDP flats really cost? Will he ask why the government tells Singaporeans that there's no need to get a degree and yet give foreign students generous grants to study at our universities? Will he ask why the GIC refuses to disclose how much of our reserves it has and how much it made or lost while the government continues to withhold our CPF savings? These are issues that affect our everyday lives, our livelihood, and for many of us, our children's future. And these are the issues I will raise in Parliament if elected. My friends, it is imperative that you send someone to Parliament to question and debate the ministers. How will voting for another PAP MP do that? I cannot emphasize anymore how important it is to have someone to speak up for you in Parliament, especially given the problems that our country faces. I don't have to tell you that things are going to get worse as layoffs pile up and job growth is at a standstill. This is where it gets really important, my friends. So I want you to listen closely. I brought up this issue at the GE last year. But after the elections, a report by Nomura Securities, a Japanese financial instrument, appeared, confirming what I said. The Nomura report stated, and I quote, Singapore's drive in restructuring its economy to lift productivity has failed thus far, and its drag on economic growth is expected to last until the end of this decade. Unquote. Folks, this is serious. I know many of you don't understand the finer points of economics. Don't worry, neither do I. I find it very difficult to follow too. But you don't have to have a degree in economics to know this. If our productivity doesn't grow, and it hasn't been growing in the last 10 to 15 years, our economy won't grow. And if our economy doesn't grow, your wages won't grow. Worse, if our economy doesn't grow, many of you will be retrenched, like what is happening now. Are you with me so far? No, two things, 2 points from this report. One, it says that the PAP's economic restructuring plans have failed. And two, more importantly, there's no change in sight to this dismal situation. In other words, there will not be any growth in productivity and hence economic growth in the foreseeable future because of PAP's policies. Now, I want to quote a gentleman by the name of Mr. Han Fok Kwong. Some of you may know who he is. He is the editor of the Straits Times. And when you have somebody who starts sounding an alarm in the pro-PAP Straits Times, you know that something is serious. Mr. Han said, and I quote, one number in the report was telling. According to Nomura, the government has spent $21 billion since it launched its restructuring exercise, including paying for National Productivity Fund, Work Credit Scheme, the National Research Fund, and all the various productivity incentives, but with little progress to show. Unquote. The Prime Minister himself has admitted to this problem, saying that we have maxed out on easy ways of productivity gain and economic growth. He said, productivity is very tough to do. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, he doesn't know quite what to do. The PAP is just doing the same thing over and over again, each time coming up with new names for its initiatives. Construction, productivity scheme, productivity and innovation scheme, wage credit scheme, ICT for productivity and growth scheme, and most recently the skills future scheme. Do you know what Albert Einstein said about insanity? Einstein said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Let me drive home the point again. Productivity and innovation are key to our economic future, our economic survival. A PricewaterhouseCoopers study surveyed 1,200 CEOs. Listen to this. And they all agree that productivity and innovation are crucial factors to growth in this globalized economy. I'm going to put it as simply as I can. Without productivity, without an innovative economy, and as I showed you, we don't have one, we are going to suffer. So what is necessary to boost our productivity and innovation? Change. If we don't change, we die. It's as plain as that. And the one thing that we must do to change is that our political system must allow the people the freedom to speak, to express themselves without getting sued by the Prime Minister, without media filtering what we say, and without constantly portraying the PAP as a party of heroes. What Singapore needs is for the PAP to stop being the albatross hanging around our necks. The government must not continue to control what we read and watch on TV, newspapers and radio, and in the process kill off our innovative spirit. Don't take it from me. Listen to what Steve Wozniak said. Wozniak was, of course, the co-founder of Apple, together with Steve Jobs. He was invited by the NTUC to speak here a few years ago, and he said that Singapore could not produce a company like Apple because the system here has destroyed creative elements and give rise to the innovative companies like Apple. Change. That's what Singapore needs. Friends, if you are still not worried by now, let me say to you two words that ought to make you sit up and pay attention. Eastman Kodak. Those of you who are old enough will remember that when we need film for our cameras, right, to take pictures, 12 or 24 or 36 exposures. Remember? Yes. Not like the smartphones you use nowadays where you just click and then you store them in a file. We used to have to buy the film, put in a camera, and when the film was all used up, send it to the film shop and have it developed. Those of you can remember. It makes you feel a little bit old, doesn't it? Manufacturing the film was Kodak. It was the giant of all the camera film companies. Everyone knew who Kodak was. Up until the 1990s, it was one of the world's 5 most valuable brands like Google, Apple, or Microsoft today. But because it did not change and adapt to new digital technology, it filed for bankruptcy in 2012. And it's now just a piece of history. After 130 years of dominating the business of photography. Another example is Nokia. Because it didn't adapt quickly enough to change, enough to smartphones, it lost the business. The same thing with Sharp, Xerox, Texas Instruments. All once mighty global companies, all history now. Change. If you don't change, you die. You become history. That's what is happening to us. The PAP keeps telling you that we're doing great, we're number one in this, we're number one in that. But I've just showed you, that's all propaganda. The reality is that we're not doing well, and our future is bleak because we are not productive, we are not innovative. Will we become obsolete like Kodak? So what can we do to change? It's a long, hard process to be sure. But we need to start somewhere. We need to start sometime. And the time is now. The place is Bukit Batok. We can start this process by electing a party that has emphasized the need to open up society so that our people have the space to freely question and debate practices that are crucial for society to become creative and innovative. Yes, you want your housing estate to be well taken care of. You want your town council to be effectively managed. And you want the upgrading. I hear you. And I give you my solemn pledge that I will make sure that this constituency is effectively managed, and we will continue with all the upgrading works either in progress or in the pipeline. You can put your mind at ease on this. With this assurance, you can vote for someone who will speak up for you, who will make the difference in Parliament for you. In other words, it's a win-win situation for you to vote for the SDP. You can have the best of both worlds.
You are the one.
This is the first rally that we have in this by-election, and because it's the first rally, I want to tell you how the SDP will run our campaign.
You are the one.
Some people have told me, hey, whack David Ong lah. That's the PAP's weakest point. Second one already, the first one is Michael Palmer, and PAP still hasn't learned its lesson.
One more, that was a good.
No, I don't want to do that. Not my style. You never kick a man when he's down. There's no honor in that. For all I know, David Ong is a good guy. But sometimes good guys make bad mistakes. Who hasn't? Didn't someone once put it so beautifully? To err is human, to forgive is divine. let's leave Mr. Ong alone for him to find his life again and let his family heal again. As for Mr. Murali, I've met him a couple of times. We met once at a funeral not far from here, and then at the nomination center. We didn't have much time to talk, but even then, from that short time, I found him to be a very decent chap. And I've heard good things about him. My criticisms of Mr. Murali is not about his person, and I want to emphasize this. It's about his political views. So I tell my colleagues in the SDP, and I hope all our friends and supporters will abide by this too. Please, do not launch personal attacks against my opponent. Like me, he is Singaporean first, and the PAP member second. I believe this about him, and I hope he believes that I am Singaporean first and SDP member second. We can disagree, but let us disagree gentlemanly and with civility. What is important now is that we as Singaporeans focus on these issues that confront us and our future. For my friends here in Bukit Batok, it is important that you focus on the two candidates before you, and with everything that you've heard tonight and in the coming week, decide on who can better serve you as your MP. I'm asking you to vote for the SDP, to vote for me, so that I can get into Parliament to provide more alternative voices, to raise the hard questions on your behalf, to elevate the level of debate in Parliament, and to change the political climate from one of fear and stagnation to one of confidence and hope and innovation. Now is the time. Now is the time to talk about restoring our CPF. Now is the time to bring about more transparency in the GIC and Temasek holdings. Now is the time to change so that our people, our culture can become innovative. Now is the time, not the next general elections, because it may be too late. Now is the time to bring your dreams, your hopes, your aspirations, your concerns, your worries with me into Parliament. Now is the time. We may not get another chance like this. Now is the time to vote for the SDP and to vote for me as your Member of Parliament. You've been a wonderful audience. Thank you. And good night, everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Sun Juan. And ladies and gentlemen, right here we've got a special bouquet of flowers from one of our supporters, especially for Dr. Chi. We'd like to thank our supporter for this beautiful bouquet of flowers.
谢谢徐顺全博士，还有一位志工送来的花。
You are the one.
Fellow Singaporeans, I ask you $1 million questions. Do you know who he is? He is Dr. Chi, and he will have the chance to be your Bukit Batok MP that's going to serve you full time. He wrote a book about a nation cheated. Please, let's not be cheated anymore. And for those of you who would like to support Dr. Chi, this is one of the books that he wrote. Please go to our merchandise booth located right behind. There will be an autograph signing session in front. Please follow the advice of our ushers, our marshals. They will let you facilitate the autograph. You will move from the left, the queue will start from the left, and you please, in an orderly manner, leave from the right.
如果你拥有徐顺全博士的书籍，并且要得到他的话，你可以在这里排队，因为我们现在要举行一个签名活动。那所有的朋友，我们下一次的群众大会是在这来临的星期天，地点还没有公布，所以请你上 SDP 的脸书或是网站去看一下。
Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our rally. Stay tuned to our website. We have a rally on Sunday. Stay tuned for more information on the upcoming rally. And for now, for you, the residents of Bukit Batok, vote for the party whom you wish to serve you. Vote for the party that will be your voice in Parliament. Now is the time to bring your dreams into Parliament. Vote for the SDP. Thank you and good night.
Thank you. Good night. Have a safe trip back home. See you on Sunday. please look out for our website, yoursdp.org, for more information about the rally site. Thank you very much. Good night, Singapore.
Goodbye, everybody.
请把垃圾也捡回去好不好？不要留在这里。谢谢大家，晚安。
Okay, hello and good evening. This is Amanda reporting to you live from Bukit Batok Industrial Park, where the SDP has just concluded their first rally for this by-election. It's been a pretty interesting one, I would say. A lot of responses from the audience, especially when Dr. Chi was speaking. I brought out a lot of significant points that I think it's really worth pondering. Alright, and we're now going to... I think actually tonight at its peak, the area was actually filled with, I would say, close to maybe 4,000 to 5,000 people. It was literally packed, and the tensions were definitely running high, given that this is two candidates trying to contest for Bukit Batok constituency. And now what we see is that people are trying to get autographs from Dr. Chi after the purchase of the merchandise. So we're just going to move around and see if we can get a few answers from people who are here this evening. Hey, 可以采访你吗？哦，不可以哈。OK。该害我等明天没有做工。没有啦，只是问你的感受而已。没事，好。OK。No, she's worried. Okay, the crowd is actually slowly dispersing. Despite the wet weather today, I think it's a huge turnout. It's a very successful rally. Everybody's rushing off. We can approach the queue lah. How do we go up? Oh no. They locked the thing. Oh, embassy. Embassy. Okay. Get the police. Hello. We need to get the new name. You just couldn't carry them. Don't mind. Yeah, we need to get everywhere they put up a barrier. Huh? You are under close arrest. So open, I guess. Yeah, he's got a title. Good. Hey, you're a title. So make sure next rally please is there, okay? We're all slightly trapped inside here because the barricades have been locked. A lot of residents coming to rescue.
How do you do it?
Yay! We're gonna move out now and see if we can get anyone. Yeah, let's try. 不好意思，可以访问你吗？就是问几个问题。哦，你不是住这边的，
我不是住这边的。
OK， 可是你就是有来听。
其实我来很迟了。
哦 ，OK， 为什么会不住这边都会来呢？
我都支持反对的。
哦，一路来都支持。你是住哪一个区的？
我住了区很严重，不可以讲。
哦，很严重，好 ，OK。Everybody seems to be very afraid to share their views.
大了区了。
OK. Sounds like I'm okay to me. Okay.
Maybe we could go over to the sales area.
Sales, I thought of these people who are queuing for the autographs, I think.
Both also okay.
Yeah, okay. Tonight's rally also saw a lot of the speakers. They had quite a strong team actually, made out of many speakers who came and, they addressed the crowd in many different languages as well to appeal. Oh, that was a pretty good thing. Where? Oh, okay. All right. Hello， 可以访问你吗？
访问我什么呢？
几个问题，只是想问，你是住这边的吗？
哦，不是。
哦，也不是这个区的，可是你就是有来听。
对。
为什么会来听？
因为在这里听的，我们能听到比较现实的东西。
哦，所以你是支持反对党的吗？
不是说我支持反对党，我是想听到底什么是事实。
所以你觉得你今晚听到了吗？
是啊，我听到了。
听到了吗 ？OK。
在电视上因为听不到嘛。
所以你觉得他讲的有没有特别跟你有共鸣的哪几点呢？
我觉得他是讲的东西是对民生的，民生。
Okay.
其他的都差不多都是一样。
所以你是支持他的？
因为当选的人每个都是讲同样的东西，只是说他会为民生讲多一点，这是我想听的。好。
Okay, 谢谢你，谢谢你。
你是哪一个机构
？Happy TV we don't have the card. Oh, okay, never mind. 对，我们是 Happy TV， 所以我们就会播这个东西。
因为你在新闻媒体
都是被剪的，对吗？我们是 uncensored。
所以我是真的想听到的东西就是
OK。
他所要讲的东西就是说我们在媒体上听不到的东西。
好，谢谢你。
这是我来的原因。
OK， 很好，谢谢你。
因为 Come on, your turn now. Happy TV.
Can we interview you?
Oh, you guys again.
Again? Have we interviewed? Have you spoken here before?
Yes, your friend interviewed me before.
Okay, can you do?
No problem.
No? Okay. So do you happen to be in this constituency?
No.
No, so.
I'm just here. I'm just chilling. I'm just here to get stoned, really. So it's cool.
Okay, so what did you take out of today's? Whatever the content that was said.
Sun Juan knows how to play an audience. He's Singapore audience, which doesn't take much skill. He's better than Murali.
Why would you say that?
Why would I say that? Better than Murali. Well, he has his policies which work better. He takes care of the poor better, and all that other stuff which on his website. So yeah, will he win? I am maybe. Who knows? It's 50-50 really. Yeah. I mean, he has a good political smile.
Which part of his speech maybe connected with you the most, or like you felt really raised a point?
With me?
Or like really raised a point?
Not much, really. It's been there, done that, really. He hasn't said anything that he's a good speaker. He doesn't suck, which is good. But he's decent. He's not great. So, and he just brought up the points which I'm not special.
What would you do? Or what would you say that? Was there anything that he didn't mention that you would like to contribute? Or as a citizen, you would want like that in place?
At the top. No, the thing is that he just does it by the books. All the things that has been said before, he has said it.
So how is he going to be different from the other candidates? The other candidate in this case.
As in what, like PAP?
As in like, because if he mentioned points that are going to be said by the other party as well, then how are they going to be?
I mean, he might actually, do that. No, yeah. No, the fact is that, you mean PAP? PAP, they don't mention all that, high ministers' salaries and all that, stuff. Because, they don't want people to know about their problems. He does, so. But it's pretty common knowledge in terms of opposition stuff, so not much new. He's just doing his job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty sure, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. Alright, okay, and that was our blogger, Amos Yee. So glad to have snitched an interview with him. I think that's the highlight of my night. Okay, we're just gonna move around and see if we can get any more people here. No, I'll hold this on. Okay. Let's go and see if we can get any more interviews done. Hey. Can we do an interview with you? Like just ask you a few questions. Do you belong to? Okay. All right. Let's move and try somebody else. Can interview small boy? I said just ask you a few like.
Where are you from?
We're from Happy TV, so we broadcast like the rally for people who don't come like on YouTube lah.
Okay. You want to be interviewed?
Maybe just 2 questions, no? Okay, alright. But did you enjoy the rally? Were you here like from the start? No? Okay. Alright. Can I do an interview with you? Can I just ask you like a few questions? Okay, so you were here. Do you belong to this constituent as in this area?
I'm actually from the northeast region.
Northeast. So why do you come all the way here?
Oh, because I'm very impressed by what Sun Juan has showed online on his Facebook page. So I want to know further what he can provide for the residents of the Bukit Batok, and not just the residents, but actually the whole Singapore, in its entirety.
Okay, so did he actually address anything that what was the point that maybe he made that had the most connection with you?
Oh, I think it's about the how the housing prices are too high, and that it can be lowered more for people to purchase it, because I've also watched the budget and I find that the housing issue is really bad. So he will set out a comprehensive plan to tackle this issue and allow more people who wish to buy flat and not just rent to actually really buy the flats. Yeah.
Okay. So what about him that impressed you like the most? As in, because you came all the way here just to see him based on what you saw on Facebook and.
I think his resilience is very admirable. Yeah. He's very resilient in tackling the issues that are facing the Singapore society and economy right now. he thinks that the society is not innovative enough, and he feels that people are underprivileged. So I'm very glad to see that he didn't give up halfway, even though he faced a lot of crisis, and that he still continued staying in politics and joining this by-election. Yeah.
Okay, but do you think the PAP is not able to carry out like what they promised, as in like?
I think like what Dr. Shi said is because Mr. Murali is from the PAP and the parliament has already 82 candidates, he would most likely not debate with his own kind. Yeah.
Okay.
So Dr. Shi would definitely voice out any concerns over the legislations that the PAP would pass, and since he's opposition, so he will definitely fight for the people and not be like the PAP, which actually neglected the people in many occasions. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Yay! That was a young voice, and I realized actually tonight that a lot of people came from people who didn't belong to Bukit Batok. The people who didn't stay in this area actually came all the way down just to hear Dr. Chi speak. They were either very touched by his Facebook post, or they have heard of him, and they really just want to see this man in person and hear what he has to do for not just Bukit Batok GRC but Singapore as a whole. And I think a lot of them are actually very pleased with his answers. I think people who turn up here tonight are really mainly his supporters. Alright, and yeah, the queue that you see now is actually people who have purchased merchandise and are waiting to get an autograph from the man himself. I think it was very evident that one of the points that was pointed out in tonight's rally that was brought up over and over again is the strong need to have an opposition voice in the parliament, given that there are already 82 seats for the PAP. Having one more, it won't make a difference because he won't go against his own party, and I think that was what was highly debated tonight. So it's very important to have an opposition voice to actually voice out the needs of the people, and I think Mr. Chi very rightfully addressed this issue, and much to the delight of the people staying in Bukit Batok. And of course, he also promised to carry out a lot of the things that people in Bukit Batok GRC would need, and put these things in place as well. So we are more or less actually done for tonight. The crowd has mostly dispersed, except for the queue that's still here. I would say overall it's been a very successful first night of rally for the SDP, and I can't wait to see how they're going to progress, because what I heard is they're going to have rallies on alternate days. So the next one's going to be on Sunday. So keep a lookout on their Facebook page if you want to know where it's going to be held. And yeah, I guess we're done for today. So this is Amanda signing off as a reporter, and of course I have my dearest cameraman behind the lens, Raveen, who is here with me tonight. So do remember that Happy TV is going to be broadcasting the rallies live and uncensored, and we're just going to bring it to you. So do tune in to us, do stream us live as well. You can catch us on happytv.com or youtube.com/happytvmedia. And yep, so have a good night, everybody. See you at the next one. Why do you allow me?